Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Crow, Director of the Office of Urban Analytics and Innovation. Last year, we launched the new 311, a centralized, non-emergency hotline and website that provides ready access to city services and information. Whether you live here, work here, or are just visiting, our goal is to make it easier for you to report non-emergency issues, either online or by phone. Think of us as the front door for your city services. See a pothole that needs to be fixed? Need a trash container? Discover a street light that needs to be replaced? You can call 311 or visit us online at clevelandohio.gov/311, and we will make sure your request gets to the right department. If you submit your request online, you can create an account and track the status of your request. This is your city, and with 311, you can help make Cleveland better for all of us.
Are you looking to have a fun and exciting summer while making money at the same time? The City of Cleveland is looking for lifeguards to oversee our 42 pools across the city. And guess what? We will train you. Here's what you need to know. To be a lifeguard in the City of Cleveland, you must be 15 years of age, be able to swim 300 yards nonstop using front crawl and breaststroke. Swim to the deepest end of the pool and retrieve a 10-pound object and return to the starting point on your back. Tread water for 2 minutes using legs only. Pass a written test 80% or better. For more information or to sign up to be a lifeguard, call your nearest rec center today. Do you like football and think you have the skills and want to show them off? Our neighborhood resource and recreation centers are offering youth water flag football. It may be cold outside, but it's warm in our pools. Ages 8 to 16. The program is held on Fridays and games are played on the shallow end of the pool. You don't have to swim to get in. Sign up now. It starts March 7th and ends March 28th. Contact your nearest neighborhood resource and recreation center for more information.
Hey, I'm Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb.
And I'm Ward 7 Cleveland City Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones, here to encourage residents in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County to take advantage of the free tax preparation services offered by the Cuyahoga Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition.
Since 2005, the IRS certified volunteers at the EITC Coalition have helped nearly 200,000 low to moderate income taxpayers claim more than $270 million in refunds, money that rightfully belongs in their pockets.
The Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and others can provide significant financial support to working families. Yet 1 in 5 taxpayers eligible for the EITC do not claim it.
That's why we are proud to partner with the EITC Coalition to ensure hard-working taxpayers correctly claim the tax credits available to them. Coalition volunteers can also help with education about tax benefits and access to safe and affordable checking accounts.
Free tax prep and filing is typically available to households earning up to $67,000 annually, and services are offered at multiple locations across Cuyahoga County with virtual and drop-off options available.
Keep your full refund with free preparation and filing services. Protect yourself from predatory practices and ensure your taxes get done accurately and securely.
To get started, visit refundohio.org to make an appointment or call 211 for additional assistance. Volunteer opportunities are also available. No prior tax preparation is required and training is provided.
Growing up, these tax credits made a huge difference for my family, and we want to make sure all eligible Cleveland families benefit from them too.
Visit refundohio.org to get started. And many thanks to all the hard-working volunteers and generous supporters that make the EITC program possible.
Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Crow, Director of the Office of Urban Analytics and Innovation. Last year, we launched the new 311, a centralized, non-emergency hotline and website that provides ready access to city services and information. Whether you live here, work here, or are just visiting, our goal is to make it easier for you to report non-emergency issues, either online or by phone. Think of us as the front door for your city services. See a pothole that needs to be fixed? Need a trash container? Discover a street light that needs to be replaced? You can call 311 or visit us online at clevelandohio.gov/311, and we will make sure your request gets to the right department. If you submit your request online, you can create an account and track the status of your request. This is your city, and with 311, you can help make Cleveland better for all of us.
Are you looking to have a fun and exciting summer while making money at the same time? The City of Cleveland is looking for lifeguards to oversee our 42 pools across the city. And guess what? We will train you. Here's what you need to know. To be a lifeguard in the City of Cleveland, you must be 15 years of age, be able to swim 300 yards nonstop using front crawl and breaststroke, swim to the deepest end of the pool and retrieve a 10-pound object and return to the starting point on your back, tread water for 2 minutes using legs only, pass a written test 80% or better. For more information or to sign up to be a lifeguard, call your nearest rec center today. Do you like football and think you have the skills and want to show them off? Our neighborhood resource and recreation centers are offering youth water flag football. It may be cold outside, but it's warm in our pools. Ages 8 to 16. The program is held on Fridays and games are played on the shallow end of the pool. You don't have to swim to get in. Sign up now. It starts March 7th and ends March 28th. Contact your nearest neighborhood resource and recreation center for more information.
Hey, I'm Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb.
And I'm Ward 7 Cleveland City Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones, here to encourage residents in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County to take advantage of the free tax preparation services offered by the Cuyahoga Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition.
Since 2005, the IRS certified volunteers at the EITC Coalition have helped nearly 200,000 low to moderate income taxpayers claim more than $270 million in refunds, money that rightfully belongs in their pockets.
The Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and others can provide significant financial support to working families. Yet 1 in 5 taxpayers eligible for the EITC do not claim it.
That's why we are proud to partner with the EITC Coalition to ensure hard-working taxpayers correctly claim the tax credits available to them. Coalition volunteers can also help with education about tax benefits and access to safe and affordable checking accounts.
Free tax prep and filing is typically available to households earning up to $67,000 annually, and services are offered at multiple locations across Cuyahoga County with virtual and drop-off options available.
Keep your full refund with free preparation and filing services. Protect yourself from predatory practices and ensure your taxes get done accurately and securely.
To get started, visit refundohio.org to make an appointment or call 211 for additional assistance. Volunteer opportunities are also available. No prior tax preparation is required and training is provided.
Growing up, these tax credits made a huge difference for my family, and we want to make sure all eligible Cleveland families benefit from them too.
Visit refundohio.org to get started. And many thanks to all the hard-working volunteers and generous supporters that make the EITC program possible.
Well, before we kick it off with Q&A, I want to introduce our amazing leadership team at City Hall. You heard from our Chief of Comms, Sarah Johnson, and we'll kick it off to our COO, Bonnie. Bonnie?
Hi, I'm Bonnie Teowen. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. Underneath my umbrella is, I got to remember the whole list, Public Works, Public Utilities, Sustainability, Parks and Rec, and Port Control and MOCAP.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Shute-Woodson. I'm the Director of Community Relations, and if many of you attended the 2nd District meeting, that is usually housed out of my office. So we oversee the district representatives, street outreach, and youth diversion, as well as the cultural liaisons.
Good evening. I'm Dorothy Todd. I'm the Chief of Police.
Good evening. Wayne Drummond, Director of Public Safety.
Good evening. Sally Martin O'Toole, Director of Building and Housing.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Pomerantz, Chief of Education.
I'm Mark Griffin. I'm the Law Director of the City of Cleveland. I'm Paul Barrett, the CFO of the city.
I'm Stephanie Warnett. I'm in charge of IT for the city.
Hello, Jamie DeRosa, the Director of Capital Projects.
Hello, Mary McNamara, Director of Aging.
Good evening, Alex Nichols, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Hello, John Laird, Assistant Director of Public Works. I'm in for Frank Williams, who's the Director of Public Works.
Liz Crow, Director of Urban Analytics and Innovation, and also 311.
Good evening, Sonia Pryor-Jones, Chief for Youth and Family Success.
Marty, don't hide back there. You got a light problem, water problem, call Marty Kane.
Hi, good evening. Marty Kane, Director of Public Utilities.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. Sarah O'Keefe, Director for Sustainability and Climate Justice.
Dave Margolius, Director of Public Health.
Jeff Epstein, Chief of Integrated Development.
Great. Well, let's kick off the town hall and start with questions. That's why we're here. Who's want to start? Go up to the mic, please. A race for number one. Okay.
My name is Laura McShane. I live in Ward 14. I want to thank the administration for a lot of the advances you have made. 311 putting you on par with other cities, long overdue. The Civic Rec app is amazing. It can be used in collaboration with Metro Health to promote social determinants of health and better and wellness programming. For a long time, over 10 years, I've served on the Metro Health Patient Family Advisory Committee, and one of the things I have seen that has been, I've seen roadblocks put in front of Metro Health in terms of their services, in terms of delivery of the Institute of Hope. And I'm asking your administration to help with that. I'm also asking you to address mobility issues in the city of Cleveland. For 4 years, you had the opportunity to work through federal funding and get and promote transit to trails. And instead, there was an effort to promote the Dream 66. You lost the opportunity with Thrive 105. I'm asking you to put, now with a new administration, which you may or may not like, but under the previous,
I like everybody.
Under the previous Trump administration, Thrive 105, which would have served the east side of Cleveland and connected the Garfield Reservation to University Circle and to Cleveland Clinic and to Euclid Beach, that was just sidelined. Your administration now can put that in hyperdrive. That plus all of the Metro Parks investment in the East Side Trail Network, which again was federally funded through raise dollars that were scuttled really for 4 years under the Biden administration, could make it happen. So I'm telling you and asking you, that should be your priority, transit to trails. And one last component is the Red Line Greenway, which will connect two major projects underway, the Irish Town Bend and the Bedrock Project. So Red Line Greenway, Thrive 105. Great. That's what I'm asking.
Great, thank you. A couple things I want to just highlight from your comments and your statement. Number one, we're really excited about the rollout of our new online system for Parks and Rec. We think it's going to help a lot of families be able to access services online, be able to see the schedule online.
It's open data.
It's open data for the city. Also, Director Nichols is working on our brand new Parks and Rec director, by the way, Alex Nichols. She's working on the ability for us to give residents the ability to get their permit for a park or rec center online. So it's more seamless for all of our residents across the city. To your point about Metro Health, we want to support Metro Health where we can. I know my public health director, Dr. David Margolius, is a former doctor from Metro Health. I meet quarterly with every CEO of all our major hospitals. So in my next conversation with the new CEO of Metro Health, I will bring that up to see where we can be supportive of the Institute of Hope. And then Matt Moss has replaced Callie Mearsman as my new advisor on transit and mobility. And so we have a lot of key transit priorities around making Cleveland a more connected city, embracing a 15-minute city concept. And so we prioritize a lot of these good trails, protected bike lanes as well, to ensure we build that cohesiveness. So we appreciate that feedback.
Okay, so the mobility plan has Metro Health identified
Great.
as a trail connector
Okay.
to the towpath.
Great.
Via the West 14th, steel yard connection. There's a turnaround there. I will be sending information to you. RTA is closing the ramp that's going to that turnaround, which will affect the number 25. That's how I got here.
Okay.
A key RTA route. So Callie's mother-in-law serves on the Metro Health Committee that I serve on.
Okay.
So
Great.
Callie has also done a walk audit at Metro Health campus. We've got Shelley Williams here who needs help with all of the coordination and collaboration of mobility around Metro Health.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much. Fix the Streets 216. How you doing, brother?
You don't have to tell everybody who I am.
How's it going? What's your name?
My name is Terry McNeil, and I have like a 9-year running project called Fix Our Streets 216. I created that project because I lived in South Florida for 30 years, moved back home, and my grandparents' neighborhood was a wreck. So that was the way to get it fixed. Now, since you've been mayor, things have gotten a little better. I can't say nothing got better. But
we still have a lot more work to do.
Here's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person that if I'm coming to you with a problem, I already know the answer. I've already researched it. I've already talked to professionals. I've already talked to R&D people, blah, blah, blah. I don't talk to salespeople. I talk to people who make things because that was my job. So if I'm talking to Public Works, right, and I'm telling Public Works, listen, you don't have enough labor out here to cut grass. You don't have enough labor to trim trees. You don't have enough labor to edge up the sidewalks and all this other stuff that makes our neighborhoods look great. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have enough labor, that means you have to take the labor that you have and make them more productive. Why is our Public Works so afraid of innovation?
Great. Is that the question?
That's the first one.
Okay.
That's the first. Why is Public Works so afraid of innovation? Number two, I was having a weekly call with the assistant director every Friday, and we were getting headway on some things that he didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, somebody told him to stop talking to me. I don't know who it was. It was after I told him about, listen, stop using John Deere tractors because they're having a problem. And I told him to check out TYM tractors. And he came back to me and said, well, they told me to stop talking to you. Whatever.
Okay.
The next one is I invited all of them, all of the brass from Public Works to my street so they can come stand in it. Stand in the street and stand in the vacant lots. Well, the two senior ones didn't show up. Chief T went in and Director Williams.
Okay.
They didn't show up.
Okay.
Assistant Director Laird showed up, and all the managers from all the other different departments showed up, and I made them stand in the vacant lots.
Okay.
I said, listen, this is not supposed to be like this. There's a way to fix it. There's a way to clean up all of the lots. So every time I ask these questions, there's no answers. I asked city council members to ask in committee, and there's still no answers. And now I just got an email back saying, oh, we're going to try some new things and all this. Well, why is it secret squirrel?
Got it.
Just, okay, make a PowerPoint presentation, put it on the brand new city website so we can all see it and read it every day, right?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your passion. I appreciate your passion, your activism, and your focus on holding all of us accountable in Public Works to get better. A couple things I want to respond to, and maybe have John and Bonnie chime in. One, I'm going to push back a little bit because I think our administration, especially in Public Works, has really embraced innovation. Let me give you guys a really great example that we all felt in my first couple weeks in office. We had 2 crazy back-to-back snowstorms. And when I took office, here's what I realized. We were still using 3-ring binders full of paper to highlight how we picked up snow all across the city. So imagine you're a snowplow driver in Cleveland. It's cold, snow's coming down, and you're tracking your route with paper and a highlighter. Most cities in America aren't using paper and highlighters to manage their snow removal systems. Well, guess what we did? We bought in some of the best technology from across the country. Now, every snowplow driver in the city of Cleveland has an iPad and a route that's optimized to manage our snow removal process. That's an innovation. The second thing we've done, for the first time in history, we have now brought in small business contractors to help us cut vacant lots. Primarily contractors of color all across the city of Cleveland. And we're always looking at best practice from across the country to get better every single day. So if you want my top brass to come to your neighborhood and see what's going on, you got my commitment that Bonnie, Frank, John, and Commissioner Scott will come out there and take a look at it. I would also say this. Yesterday was 301 Day in the city of Cleveland. Shout out to our amazing 301 team for the great work they're doing. I took a couple calls yesterday. Trust me, y'all thought being mayor was hard. Taking your calls every day is very, very, very hard. And they take those calls with a lot of empathy, a lot of patience, and a lot of care. Now, you can track your complaint with a real ticket number like you track an Amazon or FedEx package. So, is it mission accomplished yet? Absolutely not. But I will say we have made tangible progress in just 3 years to address some of your pain points, and we have a lot more work to do to get better. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Yep.
Just one more thing.
I gotta go to the next guy. We'll talk after. Okay. I gotta go to the next guy. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
How you doing, Johnny? I own a business downtown. Okay. I have written you over 50 letters. Okay. My bartender has been assaulted numerous times. We called the Cleveland police, and it's a 2-hour, 2.5-hour, 3-hour response time, right? I give every single Cleveland cop free food. I probably am at $100,000 in city tax I pay based on our payroll. Okay, huge business.
What's
in
your
Cleveland.
business?
Pizza 216. When I saw you outside of Pizza 216, when I had written you 50 letters, you literally looked at me and ignored me. The next day I got a health inspection. So that was not a good thing, right? We can agree to that? Cool. You have $500 shoes on. You make $155,000 a year. I don't know how you're affording those, but it's fine. So I guess the issue is...
I got them on sale at Saks Off the
That's
Fifth.
great for you. Good for you.
Let's
Good
get to
for
your
you.
question.
Good for you.
You have a question?
But I do have a question.
We'll get to it.
What are you doing about police security
Great.
in the city when we call the cops in a restaurant that does $3 million a year, provides a lot of revenue for the city, and your administration, you particularly, don't have any care for the cops?
Okay.
So for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, when people are getting assaulted, you do nothing. So what is your response to that, Mayor?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your question.
I'm sure it should be a
I appreciate
terrible
your
response.
business in downtown Cleveland. I have to take offense to one thing you just said.
Don't take offense to anything.
I'm a son of a cop.
Okay. Well, why don't
And
you provide cops
can
downtown?
you gonna let me answer my question, please?
Why don't you provide cops downtown?
Let me answer my question. Let me answer the question.
Sure.
I'm a son of.
Cops don't come.
You gonna let me answer the question or not?
Do you understand why the cops don't come? Yes or no?
Can you let me answer the question?
answer why cops
So here's what I've done on day one since taking office to support the men and women of our police department. Did you know when I took office, police pay in Ohio was in the bottom third in the state of Ohio. Now it's in the top third, right? Last year, we hired over 134 new cops to our police department, the most in 5 years. And just last week, we negotiated another 9% pay increase for the men and women of our police department. The men and women of our police department work every single day to keep this city safe. Every single day. They do show up,
Sir,
and they're back there.
They do not show up.
Chief Todd, you want to
when
respond to that?
bartenders get assaulted, they don't show up. So why don't they show up? Please explain that to me. Why they don't show up when it's 2-hour call time, 3-hour call time.
I can talk
Yeah,
to you.
you're not answering it because
I
you're
can
wrong.
Talk to you. I can talk to you offline.
I'm not wrong. You are. Well, you know what? I know what I have in a business downtown, and I know they don't show up.
Sir. Sir, I understand that you're upset. We can go outside in the back and talk.
Your passion?
We can go outside in the back and talk.
Thank you.
We can go outside in the back and talk.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mayor
How you doing?
Bibb.
So
Hi.
good to see you.
Good to see you. So my name is Sherry Howe. I'm a resident of Ward 13. So I wanted to come here and talk about the resident first.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my story, then I'll ask just one question.
Yeah.
So me and my now ex, we bought a house in Old Brooklyn. I think we bid it over $160,000, and our landlord, which was our realtor, was a Parma City Councilman, Vito DePerio. He said, "This is a great neighborhood." I would say not even 6 months, squatters moved next door. We contacted the police. They had a fake lease, obviously, you know, that's going on. But then I had to contact the city of Cleveland because it was a whole bunch of trash. They weren't taking any trash out. I was able to take a picture from my house to see the garage. I mean, it was a chop shop next door. It was drug dealers. I mean, it was pretty bad. I remember I reached out, I think it was the building, then they transferred me over to the health because they said it was trash. They had somebody call me, and when I talked to her and explained it, she said, well, how did you get the pictures? And I explained it to her, and then she was, excuse me, and I'm like, what? You know, I'm a civil servant employee as well, so I was pretty shocked, and I think I sent the email also, because that was like culturally insensitive, I felt like. But also after that, I think I was on the news. I was advocating for a change with the police department. Just like that gentleman said, I was calling the police and nobody was showing up. I think I was on Channel 5 about it. I stated the police officer needed incentives for the hiring, then we seen some change. So I applaud you for that. But then I had to move from that house. We sold it, that relationship ended, and
What street was the house on?
Saratoga.
Okay.
Saratoga. I think I reached out to Councilman Chris Harsh on that.
Okay.
But then when I moved and I had to get a rental property in that area, I was paying like $1,200. They had a mice infestation in the house. This was an out-of-town investor, never stepped foot in the house. Had to take him to housing court. I contacted the city. I had an inspector on there. It was literally mice feces dropping from the ceiling onto my $2,000 table. The inspector was actually going to close it out. It was black mold in the basement. I was having health issues. I think I reached out to the director, the public health director, or Department of Health, and also for the building.
When was this?
This was around June of last year, and they were kind of switching off. Oh, we don't handle this. This person handled this.
Yeah.
So I had to reach out to you because the inspector was actually going to close it out. I said, well, the windows don't open. And the handyman took a hammer and a screwdriver and hit it. Wood chippings flew everywhere. I'm pretty sure it was lead. And he said, okay, I'm going to close it out. And I said, are you sure? Then I got to contacting directors, you, and I think his supervisor, and he tried calling me. I said, well, I don't want to talk now. Because when I wanted to talk, you didn't want to listen. And I kind of have some issues with the health department when I'm explaining my situation and explaining it's black mold in the house. And unless the Metro Health or somebody reach out to them, then they'll, get on it. But nobody got on it. So I think I'm going to take that up with state legislators because that should be addressed properly. Okay. But my thing is now I got out of that situation, went to housing court. When I was telling the magistrate about the issue, about the mice feces, he laughed it off and said, oh, why don't you just clean it up? And I said, okay, I got another issue I got to bring up state legislator because that's not a laughing joke. I think a famous actor, his wife just died of that, they stated. So that's very serious. So my other issue, and then I'm done, is a house next door. I thought I'm paying $1,500 a month utilities, and I'm living next door, so I don't want to talk about I seen the inspector, and I went out to him, told him I'm a mandated reporter. He did not go in that house. The house is literally falling apart. I think it's like a rodent infestation in the roof. I mean, the porch is falling off. During the summer, it smelled like death. And I think the city kids, people in the neighborhood know about it. I called the police because I was like, oh my God, it smells so bad you can't even go outside. They knocked on the door, they didn't hear nothing, they left. And then we wonder why people go missing. We wonder why, I think recently in Akron, a dead body was found in like a horrid situation, and that house needs to be checked. But all I can say when I said to residents first, when I went to the second district council meeting, I said, when are you gonna retrain these inspectors? Because they need to be retrained.
Okay, great. Well, a couple things I want to talk about, and then I want to have Dr. Margolius and then Sally Martin O'Toole talk about residents first. First and foremost, your experience in your home, especially your rental unit, is the big reason why we passed Residents First legislation. By the way, raise your hand if you heard about our Residents First legislation. Okay, so for folks in the room who don't know about it, Residents First gives the city of Cleveland more tools to hold out of town, out of state, and in some cases out of country, predatory LLC investors who prey on our neighborhoods more accountable. Historically, we didn't have enough tools in both civil or criminal court to hold these folks accountable. So the legislation does three things now. One, We now have to have a local agent in charge if you are an out-of-state or out-of-country LLC. Number two, we can now issue civil tickets for egregious housing or building and housing code violations, just like a parking ticket. And that fine is now attached to the deed on the land, right? So they're gonna get a big tax bill, and money talks in terms of that kind of investment. We also have ramped up and have a more aggressive code enforcement all across the city as part of this legislation. But we have to get better in terms of the customer experience inside of these departments. That is unacceptable to me, unacceptable. And so when you do encounter that kind of interaction, please let us know who you talk to, so I can hold my directors accountable, to hold those employees accountable, to make sure they're giving you the best service we can possibly provide to you. Dr. Margolius, and then Sally.
Margolius, Director of Public Health. And so, yeah, what the mayor said, I'm really sorry you had a bad experience with the health department. We're here to serve you all. If there is mold or other health code violations in your property that you're renting, we'll talk to property management to hold them accountable. And that's what we're here for. So I'm sorry you had a bad experience. I hope whoever you spoke to wasn't me, because you said director, and that's me. So I hope that wasn't me. Doesn't sound like me, but we're here for you. We'll talk. I'll give you my card.
First off, I'm sorry you had that experience. It seems like you've had so many bad experiences in your homes, and you don't deserve that. And you're certainly paying a lot of money to be living with what you're living with. And so please accept my apology that you're having to live that way. Residents First was passed for issues just like you're describing. And in addition just to the new legislation that we have that gives us tools that we never had before to address these conditions better, we're also working on our own staff as well. So we've been working with a national think tank to stand up a whole new code enforcement training process. So I want to know who you talk to. If it was anyone on my staff, I surely want to know. We value customers, and we value residents who call us, and we certainly would never blow off a concern like what you were describing. I mean, obviously this is life, health, and safety for you and your family. And so please, come find me afterwards.
Please connect with Sally and Dr. Margolius after, okay? Thank you so much. Please, next question.
Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Hassan. Mayor, I want you to please protect my privacy, number one. Then number two, I'm really impressed with the way you answered question. That is who you are, and you have the best team ever.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Then number three, I'm here to show you my children school grade. So they go to Campus International School, and they are doing very well. And I just want to give a clap to Principal Beers.
Yeah.
So for every of my needs in the school district, I call Principal Beer. The only time I've never called her was in the night. She's always picking my calls. She has been so helpful. And I'm so much happy for this weatherization program. I applied for it last year because I'm a divorcee. So my house, I think they came and they just gave me a call that, oh, Mrs. Hassan, are you available? We are coming to do stuff. I so much appreciate their coming, because during the winter, we were never cold because the house was really freezing. And I was looking for a way to get help. But the thing is, they just came in time, just like your name, just in time. So I really appreciate. So help me to say thank you to them for that. And they finished it I think yesterday. So they did everything that needed to be done in the house. But eventually, because it's a divorce, according to the court, it's a marital asset, we have to sell it because I'm divorced. So, and we will be selling it. But the thing is, I thank them for coming. And I appreciate that. And then for my water, there was a woman here, Mrs. Jackson. Is she the one in charge of the water? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. Jackson, because I called for my water problem. They came to solve all the problems. I so much thank all these teams because, Mayor, you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I so much appreciate your team. You have the best team because when you came in this administration, there were a lot of chaos in my life. But the thing is, in this administration, I got a food stamp, though they got it back from me. And during your administration, I got a job with the county. I think they took it off. But the thing is, with county, I don't want to go into county because the county is messed up. I'm so sorry to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just,
All right.
you know what? I live in the county,
Okay.
and I love this uniform because I'm an SCNA. I work with Brookdale, because everything I do with Brookdale,
Yeah.
they always calling back on me, Mrs. Hassan, can you work with us today? I work with agents, but I still need a job.
Yeah.
But they took the job from me. County, I was hired as a family service aide. I'm so ashamed to say this, but because I have a medical condition, heart failure,
Yeah.
so they were in the process of giving me an accommodation and all those stuff, and they just pull out, I don't know what those allegations came from, and they just asked me to resign, and I resigned, and they told me that if I don't want a probation failure, and that was how I just lost the job. I was hired in August 26, and they said, because I had an injury to one of my left eyes, because I was diabetic, so they want to give me ADA. Then they were in the process of giving me ADA, and they just asked me, Mrs. Hassan, you are not a good fit for this job, and I've never heard about that before, so I had to resign because
okay.
they compelled me.
So are you unemployed now?
I'm very much unemployed,
Okay, so
and I have an emergency, sir.
We got to wrap up, but let me just get.
So this is the,
Okay.
I want you to.
Look at all this homework I got.
Mayor, this is for your perusal.
Okay.
That's for your perusal.
But before we thank you for coming
And
by.
again, sir, for this, the attendance department in CMSD,
Yeah.
I want to beg them. This is Mrs. Hassan. I don't work with CMSD anymore, but I've worked with CMSD for 6 years. I so much appreciate the skills that you spend a lot of money on me, and I'm still using those skills forever in my life, and I'm using it with those children. I appreciate it. I use it even in my STNA job. But the fact that I don't work with CMSD anymore does not mean that people can transfer hatred or whatever on my kids. Mayor, I've been driving those kids to school with Uber since December.
Wow.
I have no car. My car broke down.
Okay.
And I know if Principal Mir, if she has a car, she will give me.
Okay.
But the thing is, transportation department, they won't pick us.
Okay.
And when the bus comes to the house, I will take these kids to the bus to the junction, and the bus will not pick them up.
Gotcha.
And my children got pneumonia.
All right.
And they have been. Even I brought a car
All
here.
right. Okay. All right.
Mayor,
That's a lot.
I need help.
I got you.
Okay.
So let me end this way.
And for the attendance,
I got
please,
you. I
Mayor,
got
tell
you. So
them not to
I
call me.
want you to talk to Michelle Pomerantz after.
Mayor, are you sure?
Yes. And two more things. I don't think Matt Cole, who runs HR for me, is here. But give Michelle your contact info. Yes. We got plenty of jobs at City Hall.
I need a job, Mayor.
So,
I
but
need a job.
I want to. Can your young girls stand up? Sarah and Esther, is that right?
Sir? Yes, sir.
3.0 and 3.6. 3.0 and 3.6. Our future leaders. Yes. This whole community in this room and the whole city is proud of you. Just get that 4.0 next time, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so
Mayor.
much.
Mayor, please read
I
that.
got you.
When you finish reading it,
I got you.
call me. I will come and pick
I got you.
Mayor, I need a job.
I got you.
Please. Thank you, sir.
Oh, we got the recruiting table back there outside for HR, so go talk to him. Okay, Mr. McDonald.
Man, that's like following the Beatles.
Yeah.
All right, hi, my name's Ed McDonald. I'm an abandoned building activist for the past 7 years. Sally, you know me very well. Yeah, that's right. I actually work to make sure dead bodies don't end up in buildings. That's what I do. So my question is twofold, and it's a part 1 and 2. I hope you guys can answer it.
Yep.
I'll go. So first off, if you guys well know that we're losing 2 council people. One of the reasons that we're losing 2 council people is because the population keeps decreasing in the city of Cleveland. Meanwhile, as somebody that knows how many vacant lots we have in this city, our amount of vacant lots, especially on the east side, keep increasing. So what are we going to do to put houses on these vacant lots so we can add to the population rather than the population decreasing inside the city of Cleveland? That's question one. Okay. Question two, and I just sent in another building today. You guys are well aware of it. I find out that it's already scheduled for demolition. So what are we going to do to hold a lot of these property owners that are just letting their properties just kind of hang, continuing to be dangerous to the community? I keep asking for board up requests. We keep reporting them for being dangerous. A whole section of Broadway in East 55th, that whole corridor basically needs to be torn down. You're not renovating any of those buildings. Those buildings are falling in. They're destroyed. You're not saving them. They're labeled as historic. It's labeled as a historic district, so therefore it's becoming increasingly hard to get down. But while they're still there,
55th and Broadway?
55th and Broadway, that whole section, it was sold by Slavic Village Development to East West LLC, Ryan Florio. He sold it off to a bunch of conglomerate LLCs, which is now run by Donnie DeMarco, and nothing's being done since. This has been since 2017. All these properties are sitting there just rotted. I just sent in one today. The roof's falling in, the whole 9 yards. Kids could easily walk in there and get injured and fall right through the floor. So again, two questions.
Yep.
What are we going to do to start getting houses? I'm not talking apartments. Houses built to create home ownership, to create some type of anything in this city. And also, what are we going to do about the blighted properties that continue to stand? That we need to get these taken care of.
Great.
Thank you, Bibb.
I want to talk about your first question, and then I want to have Sally chime in on the second one, and I might have Jeff also chime in on the first question as well, too. Ed, I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the fact that we are losing population, and we have way too many vacant lots in the city. I would also tell you this. Government has failed you. Local government has failed you in terms of how we've managed vacant lots in the vacant lot process in the city of Cleveland. It shouldn't take a resident in our city who's been mowing the lawn, planting a garden, doing what they can to beautify their neighborhood, years and years, and a bunch of whole red tape to get access to that lot. So we have to change that process. So here's what we're doing. Number one, we've done a study and a deep dive to really examine through our door-to-door property survey how many vacant lots we have. Two, I've tasked Jeff and the entire development cluster to streamline how we manage the vacant lot process. Now, it's going to require council to work with us because right now, if I wanted to give you a vacant lot, but your member of council may not like you or you may run against them at some point, guess what? You ain't getting that lot, right? And so we have to figure out a way where it's easier for folks like you, CDCs, and responsible investors to manage and own and put these vacant lots into better productive use. Now, to your point about what we're doing on housing, you know, Cleveland is blessed with amazing history. But because of our population loss, a lot of our housing has been undermined over the last several decades. And in many cases, some of them can't be brought back. But that's not an excuse not to find a new solution. So what we're doing right now is we're looking at modular housing as a near-term solution to quickly build more high-quality, affordable homes in the city, but on vacant lots, primarily in the east side of Cleveland. Now, we've already done a couple of these modular homes in Detroit Sherway and in Collinwood. We are in the process of bringing in a modular developer to the city of Cleveland. And guess what this is going to do? We're going to bring a new company to Cleveland that's going to bring new jobs to our city, and we're going to give them new demand for new housing at the same time. And we're going to explore creating a neighborhood tax increment financing district in our neighborhoods to spur that investment long term, right? So being novel about how we stabilize our neighborhoods, but also bring people back to the neighborhoods as well, too. And Sally, I want you to talk about code enforcement and what's going on in Slavic Village. Sally?
Okay. You, Taco Slayer. You've been legend to me for so long. It's nice to see you.
Good to be seen, trust me.
So let me just first address that Residents First provides an avenue for management of vacant properties that gives us avenues outside of demolition, which I think is very important. So all vacant properties in the city need to be registered, and there's a point of sale requirement for 1 to 3 family vacant units. And a bond requirement for commercial buildings and industrial buildings that are vacant.
$1,000?
$1,000 annual registration, but a $5,000 or $10,000 bond, depending on the size. So I think tearing everything down is not the solution. You know, we want to encourage rehab, and we also want to hold property owners accountable who own derelict vacant properties. You know, we don't believe they should just be off the hook and the city should foot the bill for demolishing all the properties. So we can issue civil tickets and other fines. So the properties you're talking about on Broadway and 55th are a little bit complex because, as you mentioned, they're in a landmark historic district. There's special rules around that, and they're quite hard to tear down for a reason, right? We don't want to tear down the fabric, the historic fabric of some of these neighborhoods, but we do want to hold property owners accountable. And I think we're on our way to doing that, and so far the vacant building ordinance has been working out pretty well with, enforcement on the back end. So
Is that a new ordinance?
Yeah.
Is that
with Residents First?
That's
it was
part
new.
of Residents
Yes.
First. Okay.
Yes.
Just for context, folks, historically, we never had a law on the books to have an inventory of all vacant, abandoned property in the city. That never happened before. Never happened before. Now, just like you have in the suburbs, we have a point of sale inspection on all vacant property on the exterior as well too. That never happened before as well. So now we have the laws and tools to be more aggressive so we can catch up to better stabilize these neighborhoods. Jeff's going to talk a little bit more about modular housing. Jeff?
Yeah, just real quick, a couple of things on modular housing. Modular housing is housing that is built just like normal housing, but in a factory. So think about a house that's built in a climate-controlled environment in kind of two or more chunks. It's then put on a truck and lifted in place via crane. So this can happen in 6 months, start to finish. You could have a new house up. It's not, if you think about like a trailer house. This is a house that looks just like a regular house, but can be done a lot faster.
Houses back in the day.
Yeah, and so we believe that these can be done with having a factory here, with doing them at scale, with the city investing in infrastructure for 20 to 30% lower cost than traditional housing, and in much quicker time. And so we're working to scale. We're going to have a number of these pre-approved so that if a developer or if you wanted to build one of these homes and buy one, it sails right through city process. You can just order it and get it installed. So we're hoping to scale up to 200 plus units a year.
What's the company?
We're working, we put an RFP out nationally and got 11 responses back, and we're working with 4 of those to vet them further to see who might come here. But there are dozens of these companies across the country and
All over the country. So more to come soon. Okay. Good to see you, Ed. Likewise. Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Latrell. Before I ask, I have a few questions. It's 2 questions. My name is Latrell Harrison. I work in homeless services for over 7 years. I recently kind of had a viral moment in Cleveland where I
saw your video.
Was very passionate about a guy who passed away outside. Before I get to my questions, as a man, I want to say the mayor, Emily Collins, they got with me so swiftly, and I can honestly say that I do want, I spoke out in public, so I'm going to apologize in public.
Thank you.
Because it never was my intention to put any blame. I'm always solution-based because I'm very passionate about things. But they got with me very swiftly, and I could honestly say I have seen a change in homelessness for the first time in years. So what you're doing a great job. I just want to tell you that. Now, so in going to these things, I know a lot of time things are focused on policing and different things like that. And again, my name is Latrell. I am in homeless services, but I'm also a youth mentor. I'm an activist and different things, so I'm well known in the community and in the city. And a lot of people, they'll come, a lot of things they want to speak on is policing and different things like that. But what I have been finding out is that people have been saying they don't see the representation coming to their homes, not only with policing, but with firefighters. So I have 9 children. I know a lot of parents are in here. I work with a lot of youth. I speak to a lot of families. I go door to door. I do a lot of different things. And they say, we don't see that representation for our people, and we're a majority black city. We're majority African American. And so I'm hearing this a lot. I'm like, I understood that people were saying it with the policing, but I didn't understand it was like that for firefighters because I didn't understand. I'm not in that field. So my questions will be for Safety Director Drummond, the Mayor, and Fire Chief, Chief Luke. So I did myself. I went to the numbers because I couldn't understand how that could be. So I know I don't have a lot of time, but the numbers for firefighters in the city of Cleveland for Hispanic females, 0%. Black females, 0.5%. White females, 1.6%. Other male, 3.2%. Hispanic males, 8.5%. African American males, 13.1%. So this number won't shock you when you're hearing the other numbers that Caucasian males represent 76.4% of our firefighters in the city. So that was very shocking to me because I didn't know. I'm one of those people that say, hey, I spoke with the community, but I don't know. Let me go to the numbers and see. So a problem that I believe we're having, these will be the 2 questions. Our Cleveland residents are not being given these jobs. And a lot of it could be due to people are using Cleveland addresses, but they didn't go to school in Cleveland. You could look at their high school diplomas and different things. They went to other schools. That's number one. That's one question. I don't know if it's why they're not. It's just I'm always solution-based. And then the other thing is it a standard for the hiring process? Because I've talked with a lot of people that have went through the process, went all the way through the process, and then they didn't receive the job. I'm talking great kids that I know, y'all. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Kids that I know, like, wow, you know, what could have been the issue? They never were even given an explanation on why they weren't hired. And I had one tell me he was so hurt by the process. He said it took him a year. The process was almost a year going through the selection process, and he did everything in the recruiting camps and everything, and he wanted to know what can he do for the next time he applies.
Do you know when he applied, what year he applied?
This is a recent applicant, so it had to have been maybe the last, I don't know the exact dates on everything. So I know that an issue that we're having is exposure, because we are having one coming up, if I'm not mistaken, very soon. But people don't know that these jobs are available and that these tests are coming up, and I believe that is a major issue for our residents.
Great. Well, I appreciate your activism and your passion and your commitment. You bring up a very important point, and I know myself, the Safety Director and Chief Luke are very concerned about it and are crystal clear about the importance of diversifying the ranks of all of our safety forces, fire, police, EMS, and really across the entire city of Cleveland. I want to talk about a couple of things. Number one, you know, I want to shout out Antoine Cruz, who's in the back, who's heads the Vanguards. The Vanguards is the part of the fire department that really supports black firefighters across the entire department. We talk often about what we can do to expose young people to the great career of being a firefighter. My dad was not only a cop, he was also a firefighter. He did double duty, right, to make ends meet in my household. And so we have to make sure we're working with folks like President Antoine Cruz, Chief Luke, who is a black fire chief, to expose people who look like us to the benefits of being a firefighter. That's why we started our ambassadors program. So our ambassadors program, at what age do they start? 18. So at 18 years old, you get about a year, is it a year of fellowship? Almost of a year of a fellowship, where you can shadow every division across all of our safety forces. And at the end of it, you can pick which track you want to be on. Secondly, now I know we've done this in police. You know, again, another example of how do we cut red tape to make things easier for our residents. So in police, for example, historically, 18 months to get hired, time to hire. It was 18 months. We got HR, civil service, and the safety director together and said, how do we cut that process down? Now we've cut time to hire in police from 18 months to just 4 months, right? So again, breaking down silos around these issues. So I want to bring up Chief Luke, our fire chief, to talk more about what we're doing to diversify the ranks in the fire department. Chief? Got it? Just use mine.
Okay.
There you go.
Evening. Could you tell me your name again?
Latrell.
Okay, Latrell, it's an honor to meet you.
Honor to meet you.
You bring up a hard problem that has been an issue in the fire service for decades. Anybody that knows my career knows that this has been an issue that's near and dear to me. I worked on it when I was in the Vanguards. I can say honestly here that I didn't get the accomplishments out of it that I wish I would have, but this is something that we're constantly looking at. Now, it's no mystery that with the current societal trends right now, this is a real hot topic. But I have also been talking to President Cruz and members of my recruitment unit, members of my public education unit. We're working on some stuff that we think will work, and it's all based on exposing our young people to the career and exposing them to the advantages of the career. Usually when I talk to young people, the first thing they say is they don't want to run into burning buildings, they don't want to climb ladders. The fire service is not even about that. To hook the young people, the first thing I tell them, do you have any idea what our work schedule is? They usually say no. We work about 92 days a year, about 11 days a month, about 2 days a week. 24 hours on, 48 hours off. You can be a full-time firefighter and go full-time to college and pay for your own college degree. You don't have to take out a loan, and it's really not hard. In the fire service, we have people who are doctors, attorneys, construction workers, only own businesses, because you have that much time grouped together off. The second thing I ask them, do you know how much the compensation is? They don't have any idea. So that's what I start the conversation with. My problem right now is I don't believe I'm talking to the right population. I'm not getting my message, it's not penetrating to the population that I want to talk to because of social media. They're looking at something else. They're not getting the message. So that's kind of been what I've been talking to President Cruz about for the past couple months. How can we get to the people that we're trying to get these jobs? And understand, these jobs are family changing. Not individual changing, not career, these are family changing jobs. A person getting this job, it will change the whole trajectory of their entire family. So I won't say that I have the solutions, I won't even say that I'm close to a solution, but I'm telling you, we are working hard to try to figure out what we can do and who we can partner with to help us get to a solution.
And we'd love to get your help.
And like you spoke, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. We can help with that. I know it used to be an Explorer program or something that you guys used to have. Am I correct? Like an Explorer program y'all used to have, where
still have it.
They still have that program. Just with the exposure and being able to have the people in the community be able to help when these things are coming out. Like a lot of people don't know that a test is coming up and different things. So again, I'm here to help in whatever capacity. And
we appreciate it. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, folks, we got to have questions. Questions, please. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Brian.
Hey, Brian.
I got two questions.
It's all good.
While your administration has celebrated the rise in our property taxes, it's unfortunately leading to our community being priced out that have been here long before tax abatements existed. And I'm just very curious what your administration intends to do to demonstrate loyalty to our community members that have been here. And this includes my own neighbors that I've come to enjoy as a Cleveland resident. The second one involves the residents' first law that y'all have been bringing up. I just really could use some information on how y'all feel about currently being challenged on that law itself, Any response to that? And do you have a backup plan if this challenge actually succeeds?
Yeah. Well, I don't think we want to celebrate the rise in property taxes, especially for our seniors, if they're getting pushed out and they can't age in place in our city. However, I will say this is not a zero-sum game. We have to think differently as a city and do some bold things to attract more people, attract more investment, and grow our tax base. Because if we don't grow our tax base, if we continue to have a declining population, then that's less money we have as a city to hire more police and firefighters and EMS workers. It's less money we have to invest in recycling and CPP and water treatments. It's less money we have to improve our housing stock in the city. So it has to be an all of the above approach. Now, to your question is, what kind of policies can we put in place to have guardrails so that our seniors especially can age in place? Well, one, this is where we need the governor and the legislature to work with cities like Cleveland across the state of Ohio. The thing that I really wanted to talk about with the legislature is legislation that would give, especially seniors and longtime homeowners, property tax relief. If they've been here fighting the good fight for a long time, let's cap it and make sure they can age in place. We also need to make sure we have the right quality of affordable and workforce housing in the city. That's why the modular housing effort is so important, so we can have the good diversity of housing options in our neighborhoods so they don't have to go to the suburbs or leave their home or they can't transfer it to somebody in their family once they pass away. So it has to be an all of the above approach. We want to support the county in their efforts to give our seniors and low-income Cleveland residents property tax relief, but this is where the state legislature has the ultimate power to make sure we have a long-term fix for cities like Cleveland across the state. And then I want to have Mark talk about the lawsuit and what we're doing. Mark's our law director.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm the law director for the city of Cleveland and worked along with Sally Martin to put together Residents First. Let me talk a little bit about why that policy is important, because for 20, 30, 40 years, we didn't have an experience with out-of-state landlords. We didn't have an economy where we had people from different states, different cities, investing or purchasing but not investing in our properties, which they then let to decline. So we are now going after that and fighting the battle. And when we started to talk about Residents First, when we started to talk about, well, maybe we should hold landlords accountable, we heard the squealing from some of these landlords. So the fact that they are now bringing a lawsuit is not a surprise. We knew that it was coming. We knew that they would object to a couple of things. So first of all, they objected to the requirement to have someone actually accountable and responsible. That's the local agent in charge. They objected to the rental registry. And so we have now seen these lawsuits. Nothing that we are surprised about. We're confident that we are going to win in court because we're doing the right thing and we're right on the law. It's how we wrote it to begin with. We're also in front of a very competent federal judge. We're confident about that as well. But to your question of, well, what if it doesn't work? And the answer is, this administration doesn't give up. We will come back again and again and again until we hold our landlords accountable. So we have a variety of options afterwards if it doesn't succeed. But let me just say there are only a couple of those pieces of the legislation that are being challenged. We'll go after the rest of them. And as you've heard about, there are a whole bunch of other options to make sure our housing stock is better. And that's supporting our residents, providing modular housing and others. And Mayor Bibb and our administration is tremendously supportive and positive. I'm the lawyer. And so one of the questions that people ask is, what are you going to do? And with respect to the younger people who are here, we're going to sue them. We're going to sue and push them. So as positive as everybody else is, I get to be the hardcore person.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. I got to move on to the next. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you actually working with the governor and the county to get that legislature done?
We have a consistent, common dialogue with the legislature and the DeWine administration on how they can help cities like Cleveland really address the property tax issue for many of our residents, especially our seniors. Yeah, we need more power in the State House. We really do. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing, Mayor and his administration? For everybody here, I am Tariq Shabazz, and I am the candidate for Cuyahoga County Executive, and I'm a Navy veteran and political scientist. Now, why I am here today specifically is to ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
How do we, as a city, reconcile when we have an education deficit with the millions that we provide as a local government, so many millions of dollars to multi-billion-dollar millionaires like the Browns or the Haslams? What is the justification that you could say that why we should continue to invest such a large amount of resources to these entities?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. If I had my druthers, city governments like Cleveland would not be in the sports business. We would not. Unfortunately, that's not my reality right now as mayor. You know, I do think it's a competitive advantage that we are a city that has, right now, at least for right now, 3 major league sports teams, all playing sports in the heart of downtown. We know that our sports economy, our tourism economy, is a major driver of jobs. It's a major driver of tax revenue for the city and the county. But there is a way to construct these deals to protect the taxpayers. That's why, as you know, in the deal that I gave to the Browns that they rejected, I said, look, we can support you, but we're going to protect the general revenue fund. And we did that because I knew we had priorities that we had to focus on at the city of Cleveland. And I will say this, the CMSD board, the new CEO, I think they are doing a really positive job right now and making sure we make the hard choices to get our young students on a pathway to success long term. You know, every city across the country is facing headwinds right now in terms of public education. A lot of our children lost a lot of learning over the last several years coming out of the pandemic. And so we have some hard choices to make inside the district, but if we as a community make those hard choices now, we're going to be able to have higher quality options all across the city. I want to see a version of Max Hayes on the east side where there's trades programs, apprenticeship programs to give all of our children options. So if you're not going to college, not joining the Navy like you can go to a trade or get an apprenticeship, making good money and being a part of our economy with no debt. Amen to that, because I got a whole lot of student loan debt myself. And so that's the goal. And so it's always about prioritizing our residents, prioritizing our students, but having a fiscal strategy that can balance all of those things.
Last thing I want to say is thank you again, and I want to say that we should not invest anything into billionaires. They can invest for themselves and they have credit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Johnson. I have some concerns here that I wanted to bring to your attention.
Okay.
To begin with, a home is the largest commodity that people purchase. Therefore, the city of Cleveland, for the city of Cleveland, to impact dirty hands, partisanship on my home caused long-term detrimental and enduring and deterioration of irrevocable damage and harm to both the home and a dedicated resident. Furthermore, do you think it is a question of favoritism for the ward leader to say, quote, people have been living in the ward for 40 to 50 years, end of quote, yet not protecting a resident of the ward housing arbitration ruling result? Also, in that neglect, preventing opportunities for the family to make a meaningful lives of themselves. Finally, now I can't have a Rydmoor cut the backyard because of damaged trees, failures to replace and pack soil ground, and additional heavy weight traffic, including road work. And I have been severely harmed from these matters.
Okay. I want to have Director Woodson talk about our mediation process inside of the Community Relations Department for neighbors to mediate disputes. And then after the town hall, please see Director Kane in terms of issues you have with your backyard and trees being down, utility lines, et cetera. Director Keene and Acting Director Laird can also speak to that as well, okay? Director?
So thank you, Ms. Johnson. We actually have the 2nd district. I'm assuming you live in the 2nd police district?
I'm in the 1st.
You're in the 1st police district? That's okay.
Oh, I'm in the 4th police district, but I'm in Ward 1.
You're in Ward 1. Let me and you talk after this. So we do have a mediation program where you have actually an assigned district rep that works with the community engagement officer of the police department. First, I usually send someone out from my staff to try to come mediate between you and the neighbor. To see if we can talk to the neighbor about your concerns and see if we can reach some mutual agreements. If that doesn't work, then we usually come back with a community engagement officer to try to mediate that way. And then, of course, if that doesn't work, then we realize we have to maybe take it a step beyond our control and either have anywhere from Cleveland Mediation intervene or even try to deal with our housing court if we have to. But I really would like to give you the name of Edwin Paris. That is your district rep in your area, and I'm going to make sure you get all his information, and please let us follow up with you tomorrow for sure on that.
So you said Edwin
Paris.
Yep. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Do you know us? You do? This is Kelly Slobodian. I'm Mark Thomas. We have 2 questions and twofold. I'm one person, she's another person.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
I've lived in West Park my entire life. I went to school there. My family still lives there. I am a nurse in the city of Cleveland. I've voiced problems with my neighbors to the councilman, to anybody that would listen. I've called First District over probably more than 30 times in the last 2 years. In the last 5 years, it's been unbearable. In 2022, 10/2 of 22, after having a protection order against my neighbor and mediation was done, his whole family assaulted us on my front porch. The county prosecutor did not prosecute this case. It was left undone because the city prosecutor decided that Mark Thomas was at fault for some reason. I was a protected party on this protection order that was in place, and never once when the police came did they ever talk to me, cite him for violating the protection order against both of us. They would do, this is a neighbor issue. This is not a neighbor issue. This man had been stalking me for years. He had cameras facing my property. I didn't even know how many cameras until Mark moved in 2019. I moved him here from Chicago so we could live a happy life. And all we've done is fight the city to help keep us safe. We're trying to do this the right way. It's not happening. I've been told by our councilman, Brian Casey, several times, don't move. Don't sell your home. It's gonna be okay. Okay, I am 49 years old. I have 8 years left on a 30-year mortgage, and I'm now paying a mortgage and renting a place for us to stay because it's not safe for me to live in my home. I can't pack my things to sell my house because these people are still bothering us. On 10/11 of 24, this same man who we had a protection order against that the police never arrested, never made him take his cameras down, never made him accountable for the protection order that we had in place, now followed Mark all around the neighborhood in broad daylight and shot him in the back on West 150th in front of a school and a church. He stayed there and waited until the police came. He was given a bond and was let out, and then was never prosecuted. Supposedly, it was brought to a grand jury and the grand jury never indicted, not once, 2 times. Now you tell me, how does a grand jury not indict someone on shooting somebody in the back 3 times when it's caught on videotape that he shot him in the back and followed him from the house? Who's not doing their job, Mayor?
Yeah. I'm sorry the system failed you. I'm sorry.
I've been hurt. I hear that all the time.
I understand. I understand. After
I'm
this meeting,
shaking.
after this meeting, the law director and Chief Todd,
I've emailed the law director.
you have my word that we will get to the bottom of this. You have my word. You have my word. We'll get to the bottom of it. I appreciate your courage in sharing your testimony. Thank you.
My name is Mark Thomas. I'm the person that loves this woman and was shot in the back by a man in broad daylight. Not only have we complained to the good system here about housing when his house was in a wreck, not only have we complained to the police when he was stalking and maliciously harassing us, he was arrested. So don't play this game with me. I don't care about what you say.
I'm not playing any
No,
games, sir.
no, don't interrupt me, sir. I'm a citizen.
Okay.
I've been shot in the back for the love I have. Maybe you haven't noticed I'm black. I'm a black man too, trying very hard to love this woman who is white. And we told you that this black family was assaulting us. We told you and Akila and the county prosecutor, so don't play me like your promises mean anything to me. Don't play me like that. Don't tell her that you're going to talk to somebody later when you're lying to me right in front of my face. You think you impressing me? You're not. You think I'm scared of y'all? I'm not. This man tried to murder me.
Sorry.
No, you're not sorry, because you ain't the motherfucker that tried to get murdered in the back. Fuck you. Fuck. No.
Okay.
Sir?
How are you, Bibb?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Good. I think you're doing a good job. I think you got obstacles in your way from some of these council people that's been there for years, and they sit back and don't do nothing. I have witnesses the whole time I've been in Ward 6, and I've been in Ward 6 ever since Blair Griffin took over. It's nothing being done over there. I support you 110%.
Thank you, sir.
And I go to different council meetings just to see the energy and see what people do. Y'all do a lot of complaining, but y'all don't do a lot of voting. Vote them out. You don't need them. They're gonna keep telling you the same story. And you're gonna have to keep getting them out, because the only way he's gonna move forward with some of the things that you need to address, you got to get your councilmen out these seats. And y'all keep sitting up here crying and complaining. The only way you're going to be able to stick together as a ward is to come together and speak to one another about the situations that's going on in your ward. You don't need your councilman to get a meeting going. You need your people that's in that ward that grew up in that ward. You don't need them. Talk beyond them, because that's the only way it's going to work. I've been watching Blair Griffin he tried to make that area for some of the elderly people in that area, that they try to contact him. He does nothing. I got 3 lots that's next to me that I've been trying to purchase since I had my 2 homes over there for 30 years.
What street?
Off of 90th and Quincy.
Okay.
And I know it's going to be some retaliation, but I love retaliation, because I function up under retaliation.
Yeah.
Because I can make sure you make your life miserable when you're sitting in them seats. And I look forward to doing that. And the things that I've been watching him do, I like to sit back and watch and see what's going on. Everything he's trying to implement, them council presidents that y'all elected, is not letting it go forward. And that's where the fight is at. And you got to learn that. You can't keep blaming him for the things he's trying to implement for us. Because you ain't never seen nobody that comes and he tells you what he's trying to bring to the table, But go to some of them council meetings and when they vote the things down that he's trying to implement, they want the same old, same old. And you got to get rid of that corruption. And you got to be able to fight for what you believe in. You can't be sitting in the house talking about, I'm going to let him go first. I'm just going to see what he going to do and what they going to do to him to retaliate. You can't, if you come in groups, they can't retaliate against all of us. And you got to learn that. And everything you done, I support it. I've been watching you and I've been watching how you move.
Thank you, sir.
And I sit back and I see some of the things that's happening. Blair Griffin is one of your biggest problems. I already know that. And I see that every time you open up his mouth. Because up under the old administration, he said the same thing, and I never did like him when he first got there in the first place. But I'm here to help you in any way I can to succeed, because I know after this meeting, I'm going to start getting letters, or I'm going to start getting bills that I ain't never seen before, and I know what's going to start happening because I spoke about him.
Well, we appreciate your activism. Please talk to Jeff about your vacant lot so we can get on that for you, okay, sir?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, our last question.
Everybody, my name is Tanisha Velez. I am not sure if you know about all the amazing work being done at 3690 Seymour, which is Roberto Clemente Park. We have an amazing thing every Saturday during the summer. So we run a baseball league too.
I would love to come.
On top of the farmers market. We
Yeah.
would love to have you.
Yeah.
We kind of put $23,000 in assistance for people to come and shop while they're watching a baseball game. But that's not my question. My question is, with youth being more active in sports and after-school programming, what is the plan for the baseball fields across Cleveland? I know we have a new rec department representative or director, so I just want to see what was that. I know in the JFK conversation there was stuff about the interior of the recs, but just want to know more on the baseball fields.
Director Nichols, want to talk about what we're doing? Sure, I'd be happy to. And then talk about the Parks and Rec master plan and all the good things in store.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I would love to connect with you after this meeting, because I did hear some stuff about this farmers market and the concession stand, so I really want to put a name with a face, so I look forward to working with you. Excuse me, the Mayor's Office on Capital Projects put together a plan to start working on a master plan for Parks and Recreation. It's a 15-year plan. This plan implementation has already begun. The plan will ideally be adopted by City Council in the next couple of months, as well as the Planning Commission. This plan looks at all of our facilities, not only inside of the recreation centers, but we look at our athletic fields. We're looking at our parks, our playgrounds. Forestry is now under Parks and Recreation, and so we're looking at the trees as well. So what I can say is that this plan is very comprehensive. It looks at services from an equity lens. And so we look at what is needed in the neighborhoods, what are needed throughout the city as a whole. And then we look at the quality of services that we're offering. So we have some synthetic fields and we have some natural fields. When I look at the natural fields, they need a lot of love. Obviously, they're more labor intensive than the synthetic fields, but Parks and Recreation, the city is committed to that. This master plan lays all of that out. So I'm very confident that we're going to see some growth in terms of participation and benefit to the community over a long-term period. Thanks.
Thank you for all you're doing. Okay, our real last question. How are you, sir?
Good. Mayor Bibb, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I was assaulted on an RTA bus a couple years ago in the ER, bleeding behind the eye for over a month. There was no provocation for the assault. The guy falsified his complaint, which is a felony 3 in Ohio, and it happens all the time. and the prosecutor did not prosecute him. And I got a photograph of what I looked like after the ER. And so I hope you'll talk to who's ever at the law office and say, yeah. And
I'll make sure that our law director, Mark Griffin, and Chief Todd talk to you after the meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Great.
And since I've waited so long, if you wouldn't mind, would you ask the school to revisit its policy on no pepper spray? Okay. Kathleen Flynn in Norwalk, Connecticut was murdered on her way home from school. On her way home from school. All right, so there's a gap there where they're completely unprotected. And this, in these days and age,
Yeah.
you know, and traffic code, well, Department of Public Health back in '06 got some federal money for idling gets you nowhere. Don't sit around in cars idling. I mean, have you y'all seen a kid with asthma or an old folks with asthma? Traffic code 431 is not enforced. It's it could be enforced. It needs to be rewritten, tightened up. Urban Community School with their school bus out there, right where the RTA bus stop is. I've tried to work with them for 2 years, 3 years.
On idling outside the school?
They got the school bus idling right in front of, right by the RTA bus stop, and right where the kids, the poor kids who have to ride the bus, that's where they exit. And what is the first thing after being stuck in the building all day? Oh, carbon monoxide, which happens to be a poison. And I have tried to work with that school so much, and endlessly reiterating the public health consequences, the personal health consequences, et cetera, et cetera. And for all that, did I give you a sticker?
Yeah, I got a sticker. I got all the stickers.
One of our better police dispatchers, she said when we were talking this one night, she said, maybe you could sell them and we could put them on our cars. And I'm going to ask you to put yours on a car and make sure the press puts it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Thanks for your advocacy. We'll make sure to look at that policy with CMSD. We're also updating our air quality pollution code relatively soon, right, Doc? So more to consume on that. Before we wrap up, everybody, one, thank you for coming tonight. Thanks for your passion. Thanks for the love that you have for the city. If there was one lesson I think we all need to take away from today's town hall, is that we all need to be better neighbors to one another. We all have to be better neighbors to one another. And then lastly, let's keep our thoughts and our prayers and our hearts with the families who lost 4 of their young people in our city late last night. Devastating to hear about that car accident. I know it's still under investigation, but so sad to hear about what happened in our city yesterday. Again, thanks for being here. This is what democracy is all about. I appreciate your support and your partnership, and let's keep moving our city forward. God bless. Thanks so much.